Hi, I'm Jim Knotts, President and CEO of the Vietnam Veterans Memorial Fund. Welcome to today's virtual reading of the names. 2022 marks the 40th anniversary of the dedication of the Vietnam Veterans Memorial in Washington, D.C. As part of our commemoration, we'll host an in-person reading of the names at the wall from November 7th through 10th, 2022, when all 58,281 names on the wall will be read aloud. In the lead up to that event, we'll be reading names each day online while sharing the photos of these heroes. For our daily virtual reading, the names of the service members will be read by month and day of death between the years 1956 and 1975 in alphabetical order for the given day. We apologize in advance for any mispronunciations. Know that our readers are doing their best to honor these service members. We hope you'll listen and watch each day and share with others as we remember and honor those who gave their lives during the Vietnam War.
Edward James Andrade, David Bruce Atkins, William Kenneth Austin, James Malcolm Bagshaw, Samuel David Barbary, William George Batts, Jerry Belly, William George Bennett, Billy Joe Bennett, William F. Benoist III, Wilson Charles Bickley, Lester Oscar Beale Jr., Charles Frederick Bigham, Dennis Clayton Boone, James Gilbert Bosley, Richard Albert Bruneau, James Patrick Burns, William Russell Busby, Larry Don Butler, Terrence J. Cather, Norman J. Chaney, Harold Dwayne Collins, Claude Laverne Collins, Michael Eugene Constantine, Joseph Quinton Conway, Raphael Cruz, James Lee Daniel, Ronald Eugene Davis, Gerald Arthur Davis, Edward Paul Diebel III, James Robert Duncan, Gerald Leroy Edwards, William H. Elmore Jr., Curtis Neal Evans, Johnny Fogelman, Douglas Lee Foley, Jerome Fort, John Anthony Futo, Johnny Linton Garner, David Eugene Gill, John Joseph Giorgiani, Hector Manuel Gonzalez, Roy Lee Greensage, Robert Roy Greenwood Jr., William Anthony Gunter Jr., Clarence M. Gunther Jr., Ronald Eugene Harwell, John Darracott Heflin, Dale Roger Heidebrecht, Richard Walter Harold, Thomas Andrew Higgins, Stephen Lee Hilms, Michael John Holstius, John Thomas Holtman, Bobby Lee Holzer, Willie Hooper Jr., Donald Francis Horn, Lloyd Ray Huey, David Ray Hunt, Robert Lee James, Daniel John Janhunen, Denny Layton Johnson, J. Dean Johnson, Howard William Jones,
Percy Julian, Ellen George Kalfas, James Lee Keener, Gregory James Kellogg, Donald Robert Kilpatrick, Gordon Lee Kimmel, Ernest Kish, Wayne Richard Clossy, Harold Jr. Kohler, Marion Dominic LaRosa, Merrill LeJean Lantry, Terry Virgil Leach, Willie Jr. Lightford, Bruce Bernard Livingston, Michael Evan Lawhern, Herbert George Lucas, James Emery Maness, Winston Elvet Marcano, Wayne John Markart, William Dean Martin, Alan Lee Matthews, Craig Eric McCorkle, William Edward McCormick, Wayne Ivan McDaniel, William James McGee IV. Neil Bernard McKinney. Hollis Ray McKinney Jr. Larry Arthur Merrill. Carl Stephen Michaela. Kinnard Mills. Thomas Henry Moon. Edward Cy Morrow. Richard Dean Morse. Brent Britton Naus. Rufo Santos San Nicolas. George Edward Norbit. Robert Wilson Ortiz. Charles Edward Osborne. Robert Paul Pape. James Dale Peoples. Joseph Perito. Ronnie Joseph Petrie. Jack Claire Plum. Howard Philip Purcell. Rodney Lee Ransom. Gordon Michael Reeves. Arthur Welker Reinhardt. Jerry Lynn Robinson. Lawrence Carroll Rose. Richard Russ Jr. Edward Ray Sargent. Sanford Shrout Jr. Ronald Wayne Simmons. Robert Lee Smith. Michael John Stanley. Marion Henry Stanley. Robert Lyle Stebner Jr. Evans Jerry Stultz. Tom Dennis Sugiura. George V. Shapanchik. Kenneth Lee Thomas. Joseph Wayne Thompson. Stanley Gray Toller. Dale Leroy Toulouse. Higinio Rodriguez Torres. Roberto Torres. Joseph L. Chambers. Raymond Walter Vonnen Jr. Nicholas Owen Wagman. Manly Glenn Walker. William Gregory Walker II. Delmas Clayton Watson. John Friel Webb. Robert James Wadley. William Commodore Wood Jr. John William Wright. Jose Enrique Zayas. George Allen Zelenko.